Hey, jury family. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a lot to cover. Welcome to Kourt, everyone. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I miss y'all so much. Y'all know we was going to cover Miss Shanquella Robinson. Jury family, I miss y'all so much. It's the busiest time of the year for me. I got one more week and then I'll be back to normal. I literally have to pack my bags all night to fly out early in the morning. I've been on the road. And y'all, why did I hurt my back? I think from being on my computer and then I worked out really hard. So if y'all see me turn off the camera, I'm just going to get a pillow because in addition to traveling nonstop, working nonstop, my back hurts like really bad. So I miss you guys so much. It's the busiest time of the year. This is lawyers' absolute busiest time. It's November, but I promise things will be back to normal after about a week. My court schedule, everything just goes back to normal. It's been insane. So hello, jury family. Y'all know we got to cover the Miss Shanquella Robinson case. Now, I saw a lot of coverage. I know people have a lot of questions. I miss y'all too. Thank you so much. Y'all under the weather, traveling, working like crazy. I miss y'all. Thank you so much, CO, Miss Sheila, everything Tammy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Treasure. Welcome. I know you've been busy lately. Welcome, Treasure. Welcome everyone to court. And y'all, I'll call it. Court is in session. Y'all ready to go over some international law? Because you know Court Chronicles got the Mexico International Indictment law to put on the board for you guys. So with Miss Shanquella Robinson's case, y'all, and I'm just diving in because I'm gonna do another live because I just learned that Kim Kardashian and Khloe was celebrating their victory over Black China in their recent Hulu flop of a show. So I'm gonna do a second live today where I read Miss Minibar to remind her that she did not win. And we're going to put the actual jury verdict and what everything happened. Baby, you didn't win, Kim. So we'll get into that. So it's going to be part 2 because Court Chronicles, since I miss y'all, we're going to do some lives tonight. So let's get into it with Shanquella Robinson going into what happened. Senseless tragedy. And with this tragedy, Shanquella went to Mexico, guys, with people that she identified as a friend. Now, none of these people were friends. And we are going to read through Rolling Stone's recent updates. As you guys know or may know, the FBI has launched an investigation into this matter. And a lot of people are asking if a crime happens abroad in a foreign country, what region has jurisdiction over that crime if they are citizens in another state? In this instance, it would be up to Mexico to engage in prosecutorial efforts. But we're going to break down the law, how the FBI could communicate in all of the international agencies that are involved in international indictments. Because see, these scumbags that called themselves friends thought that they could commit a salacious crime abroad and come back to US soil. But Court Chronicles is going to show you why I think they should and need to be locked under the jail. And I will not hold back, and I probably won't be polite in this live. So y'all bear with me because I'm in rare form. I'm in rare form. Crimes against Black women, femicide is dismissed and ignored. And this young lady went out of town with people that she called friends who were jealous. So imagine having a friend that you've known for 5 years, going on a trip with them to a foreign country, and then they savagely beat you while you are naked. Shanquella went to Mexico on October 28th. Less than 24 hours later, she was no longer here. And all of her friends were flying back and saying that it was alcohol poisoning. So let's get into the lies. How can the friends who didn't conduct any type of medical examination or autopsy, which isn't done in less than 24 hours, make a medical decision and opine that it was alcohol poisoning? No, that's the story that they all concocted when they wanted to commit a crime and conspire against this young lady. So Phyllis said the Hulu fly. Oh no, Miss Kim gonna get hers. We're gonna do a part two. And y'all know I never do two lives, but I just saw how she was trying to finesse it and say how she was praying. Kim praying over there to Baphomet. So we're gonna put up who she prayed to too. Because I'm fed up with them. So with Miss Shanquella Robinson, guys, she, goes on this trip, and these are long-term friends, 5 years. So these aren't new friends. Shaquilla was there on business and decided to make it a friend trip. She's like, I got to go over there to take care of some business. She's an entrepreneur, and she decided to make it a friend trip because she hadn't caught up with her homies, her woadies, in a while. So they hadn't even unpacked bags. And less than 24 hours, around 3 p.m. Cabo time. So that's California time, Pacific Standard Time. So 6 o'clock on the East Coast. So by 3 p.m., the sun hadn't even set. And they're alleging that Shanquella was intoxicated, but there is no room service receipt to show us that there was even any beverages purchased. There's no mention of them going to a restaurant consuming alcohol. And there's no receipt for duty-free alcohol. So unless they smuggled alcohol into Mexico, the alcohol issue, just looking at the facts, is not lining up because they haven't submitted any documentation to substantiate that they did any alcohol transactions, which is easy to do when you're abroad, especially if you're using your credit card. So already, for the suspects that I'm going to call criminals, in my opinion, the math ain't mathing already. And we're going to listen to some of these weak stories and dissect the lies and really unpack everything that's happening legally, and how what they're doing, in my opinion, is a conscious stream of parallel conscious behavior to conspire to conceal felonious criminal activity. So Bright Mind said they had the chef cooking margaritas. So they they had the chef not cooking margaritas, cooking tacos. So they probably had margaritas. Got it. Okay. So margaritas might have got them there. There's so many questions unanswered. So Shaquilla is from North Carolina, guys, and she's an entrepreneur in the hair industry. And these are some friends that she's known, but some of them she doesn't catch up with day to day. So these are friends from, back in the day, 5 years. And the two friends in particular that engaged in the attack of Shaquilla was Essence and Dejanay. Hey, Pink Honey, welcome. Bright Minds in the building, moderators in the building. Daniela D said alcohol poisoning doesn't break a spine unless there was physical trauma like that fight. I still can't wrap my head around how awful this is. Exactly. So her COD was a spinal injury. And a lot of people were saying, well, why didn't she fight back? But let's think about it, because I watch, and I usually don't watch violent videos because I have a sensitive spirit. But if you are engaged in some type of combat and you do receive a blow to the back of your head or neck that causes some type of spinal trauma, the first sign of spinal trauma is losing the ability to walk. She didn't fight back, so there's concerns if she was drugged or anything. So Shaquilla is originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's a businesswoman. She has she has a hair braiding business, and also it's my understanding that she sells various hair accessories and paraphernalia. And there are reports that one of the women who struck her with the fatal blow was trans, but I haven't been able to confirm that. I saw that on I think Gossip Girl, Gigi, and Sean Davy Way. So she goes on this trip with friends, and it has come out that Shanquella was more successful than all of these individuals. She was the most successful in this group. She had the most money, and Shanquella traveled. If you look on her Instagram, she travels a lot. This was her normal life to travel, to, live a luxurious life, wear her fabulous threads. You can see how she lives her life. Her friends, not so much. The fellas, crusty and dusty. Crusty and dusty. So they're in Cabo. And guys, I had to confirm because part of Cabo is in the United States and a part of it is in Mexico. So this happened in Cabo and this happened in Sur California, Baja. Excuse me, Sur California, Baja Cabo, which is actually Mexico side of Cabo, because I wanted to confirm the jurisdiction before we dive into the legal analysis. And as we all know, Shanquella was in Mexico because she was on a business trip. She wanted to spend some time with friends to kind of just, have a little fun, mix a little business with pleasure, because with her friends, as it has been a long time since they caught up. However, after landing on Cabo, 24 hours later, Shanquella Robinson was found unalive. She's a businesswoman who wanted to expand her braiding empire. Her braiding and extension empire. Excuse me, I had to move myself out the way so I could see the screen. So with this, Shanquella and her friends traveling from North Carolina and moving over to Cabo, and someone asks, is this a hate crime? Well, if it turns out that indeed Essence is trans, and if the prosecutor is able, because with a hate crime, you have to prove intent. It can't just be malice alone. So they have to maybe demonstrate some type of intent against her as a straight woman if it was a crime in that, setting. But also we will have to look at hate crimes in Mexico. Does Mexico, who is pretty homogenous, which means that their racial dynamic is pretty uniform. It's not the salad bowl that we have in the United States. Do they have concepts on the books to even address hate crimes? And will Mexico go through the actual work? Mexico's federalities, prosecutorial officials go through the work of indicting, which means bringing forth the charge, and then extraditing, bringing them back to Mexico so that they could stand trial for a non-Mexican citizen? Will they have any incentive? Or will they tell the United States that they're going to pass jurisdiction to them? So this absolutely was a crime of jealousy and envy. And we all know jealousy is something that consumes you. Jealousy is like a poisonous drug, a venomous, poisonous drug that literally consumes your essence. Jealousy clouds judgment. So in this matter, Shanquella went with her friends, and within 24 hours, it was a ambush where they're attacking her. They are also fighting her. One woman started the fight, body slams her, and I'm not going to play the video because I don't think YouTube will let me. But one woman, body slams her. And at this point, after she's body slammed, she never gets back up. But in the video, if you guys watched it, you actually hear a loud thud during one hit, and then when she body slammed. And I listened to it in slow motion, and I wonder if that was something fracturing, because it's loud, it's jarring. And during the conflict, there are men, if we could call them that, or should we call them bussy poppers, were encouraging women to fight to their demise. So fellas, get your wigs and your lipstick ready, because prison is going to be right for you. Because I'm just so sick of these demasculized or emasculated men. What type of men let women fight to the like and encourage it? So the autopsy report revealed that it was not alcohol poisoning, but indeed she had fractures in her neck. And this contradicted the made up story that the friends made up about alcohol poisoning. The body slam, if you guys saw the fight, the body slam, if you turn up your volume, put it in slow, you literally hear like a thud. And I wondered after the thud, her head immediately drops forward. Let me go half screen so I can give you guys a visual. So she's body slammed, and after she's body slammed, her head flops forward like she's lost all um her constitution wasn't in place. So her head is slouched forward like this, and then you see her shoulders go down. And you may think it's defeated, but once you think maybe that was a spinal injury, and think the spine has 33 vertebrae. So if something happens at the top, because all the nerves are connected, it may take a little second for all of that to neurologically hit the bottom. But when she was on the ground with her head fully slouched over, which is already a terrible position, the person who you guys are saying was potentially a man, an actual man, closed fists and hits her on the top of her head. So she's already in a compromised position, and then they take and pound and pound and pound on her head. And you see her body slumping and slumping and going deeper and deeper. And at one point, and I'm a nerd, if you pay attention, zoom in, her fingers started to, at first it was like this, and then I saw her hands relax, and I was like, oh no. So they were saying fight back. I don't think it was even an option if she has spinal cord injury, but let alone who goes on vacation and decide to fight your friends. Jealous bitches. Jealous bitches that should be in prison. And that's my full legal opinion. The body slam was aggressive. And I zoomed in on the video. I could not tell if that was carpet or if that was a tile floor. But usually in Mexico, I've been to Mexico a lot. I've been to Cancun, Cozumel, Playa de Carmel, and Cabo. And usually in Mexico, because of the climate, carpet in hot climates is rare. It's usually the travertine tile. So if she slammed, and remember with your vertebrae, with your spine, y'all, I wish I had one of those skeletons. And this reminds me of back in the day working for an insurance company. We used to have to look at all the accidents. But literally, when she slammed on her spine, if the injury is coming from the top, it's going to be a delay in the response. But if the injury is from the bottom, because that's a lot of pressure. So imagine if you are imagine your hips going like full on something that's equivalent to concrete. So that's compounded pressure shooting up. And if that was the crack noise that we heard after the slam, there's no way she would have been able to really mobilize at all, because your spinal cord is the brain for the limbs of the body. So this seems like a setup. And when it is a setup in America, we have degrees of deletion: first degree deletion, second degree deletion, third degree. And first degree is premeditated. And that's the fancy way us attorneys like to say they planned that shit. But premeditated is a very difficult standard to prove often. But in this case, if the prosecutors could get access to the cell phone conversations that occurred about Shanquella, look at everything leading up to the trip and everything 48 hours after, they'll be able to glean whether this was the plan. Because Shanquella was left there. So they left their trip early also and left their friend abroad. Because most people would say, I'm going to wait until your parents are able to come to Mexico so that they could figure out the arrangements. They got out of there. And then they started getting on Instagram with different alibis that ain't adding up. So with this, you guys, and it's just kind of, I did get some screenshots of it, and it was so fast. But in addition to Shaquilla being attacked, and some of it is blurred, and I have some more pictures, but I had to blur them out. She's in the nude, which is a weird way to even want to engage in combat with someone. It's like, put some clothes on. But Shaquilla is undressed, and this leads me to believe, and this is purely my speculation, either she was in the middle of changing or just getting out the shower, and they was out there talking about her and going in. But also what's missing is they said it was a chef there, but we haven't heard from the chef. And was the chef there during the beating? Or did the chef make the tacos and leave? Or was it in another side of the villa? So I got some pictures of the villa so we can analyze this and deconstruct it. And also Nazeer, the friend who says that he came the day after, but nothing about his story makes sense. The one who wanted to do an alibi. Because Nazeer said a nurse came, the nurse later became a doctor, then it became hotel staff. So we still are unclear if they actually called for medical assistance, but that also can be researched with cell phones. Thankfully, technology, they become your best friend when you need to unpack what happened. And yes, prosecutors do have access to cell phone records. They can subpoena them. And they can look at cell phone tower information to see who exactly was in the room at the time of the crime. Now, timestamps on the Reddit video says this went up about 3 o'clock. And according to the coroner, the autopsy report, they say that she passed away approximately 3:15, 15 minutes after the brutal beating. And with the beating, remember, it was 2 people back to back. It wasn't like 2 separate fights. So imagine the exhaustion from being ambushed and beat possibly out of your clothes or attacked fresh out the shower. And then the second person comes along, Dejanay, who people are saying, and I don't know, is a trans woman. So that means the strength of a man. And that would explain the body slam. I Am Treasure says she believed the guys joined in on the beating. She said, I do believe the guys joined in at some point, not saying women can't sever a person's spine, but a man's force is even stronger. So I believe the wusses that they laid hands on her as well. Definitely wusses. And excuse me, I'm saying Essence, but Winter is the one that is allegedly a Treasure. Winter, they say, is a trans woman. So your theory about the fellas possibly laying hands, and if Winter is trans, that's the strength of a man. So this is bizarre. And I mean, I saw the body slip and I was like, whoa, she was airborne. They really flung her. It's a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper. And I think we're going to have to go into a few sections to unpack, everything that happened. But what we do know is 7 people were in that hotel room. 7 people have different stories. No one can explain why they left Mexico. They weren't even scheduled to leave yet. So they wouldn't stay the full duration of their trip and spend it trying to get paperwork, trying to talk to officials, trying to provide any statements, trying to, see if anything was tainted with the alcohol, because we remember that was a thing back in the Dominican Republic. Literally, their reaction to their friend is to skip town. No, these people were clearly on the run after a reign of terror. And this is the point in the video after she slammed her. And you remember I told you guys about the slumped shoulders. So after she slammed Shaquilla, that's when I was looking at it in slow motion and saw just physically, you go watch someone kind of just like lose, like literally I was looking at her hands being tense to kind of go and relax, to just totally like she's out of it. And you could hear the blows. And that's the first thing I said. I said, oh, this doesn't sound like 2 women fighting. I said, oh, you could hear blows. Like you heard the first hit started with the girl going full in her face, and Shaquilla is going back. After that, 30 seconds later, is some twist, twirl, and she's slammed on the ground and she never ever gets back up. So Mexico officially, hey guys, I'm back. I don't know what happened. The app froze. I'm back. Thank you so much, y'all, for hanging in there. I don't know what happened. The app just froze. I had to reboot it. Let me get the presentation back on the screen so we can go back into it. Absolutely. I mean, this is beyond heartbreaking. And the parents did give a news interview also. And let's see, let me get my presentation up for you guys. Ciara said they were super jealous. Absolutely. Super jealous. Because Shanquella was fly. She was a baddie. So the jury family is theorizing that Shanquella was not only attacked by women but men, in addition to the woman that people suspect to be transgender, Winter, and the two men in the video. But Nazeer is trying to say he wasn't there. So let's get back into it. So this is where we left off in our analysis. So this is where Winter refuses to relent. And during this part of the video, guys, you could clearly see that something is off, something's not right with Shanquella's disposition, because it's a natural instinct, even if you're not a fighter, to at least, take on a defensive approach. It is just human nature to at least shield yourself. And she didn't. So there's the combination in theory. Was she drugged, or was this the outcome of what could have possibly been a spinal injury, and they continued to beat her through that? So the pain that one would feel with the spinal injury, look, my back's hurting right now, and I couldn't even imagine a spinal injury, coupled with being beat. And it looks like people took turns beating her. And where there is one recording, there is two, there is three. Because what we do know about this clout chasing ass society we live in, if one person record, everyone's recording and enjoying the show. So I am sure there are different angles that this happened. So CR gave us some tea and said that spinal injury, you just go limp and frozen. It hurts so much. Exactly. Jury member Jordan said maybe she didn't fight back because she knew they might all join in against her. Oh, that's true. Kind of making the decision to to like say, hey, 7 people against me, including men, that could be even more dangerous. And so let's see, who is that? Jordan said it looks like her back hit the bed frame corner pretty hard. And I'll have to replay it. I don't want to play it on YouTube. But yeah, because they slammed her right by the corner. So maybe that's the thud that we hear on the video. And let me slow down the chat because I'm going to see. I see some of the comments they fly and I'm trying to catch them. So these people, remember, guys, these were her friends. These people said that they were homies. You know, they shouted each other out on social media. And Nazeer was the one who was on social media running his mouth, giving his little rackety alibi that we are going to dissect. Is the one who took the luggage to Salamandra, Miss Salamandra, Shanquella Robinson's mother. So how do you take the luggage and explain that you left this woman's child in a foreign country unalive? And I mean, they hadn't even, and remember, according to Nazeer, he was the last one to arrive. So the whole crew technically hadn't even gotten here. And I'm curious, flights are expensive. If this wasn't planned, how did they fly back on a 1 day's notice? To fly just generally out the country, even if it's Mexico or Canada, if you're getting a flight on a 1 day's notice, you about to pay a little while. So all of them have the money to get a flight international on a 1 day's notice when they weren't slated to leave that day. Or, and this is something no one's asking about, Shaquilla, I'm sure, went on this trip with money. Was her wallet returned? Was her purse empty? Because this girl traveled a lot. She might have had a few $1,000s on her while she's traveling. And allegedly, he says Nazeer says he came after everything. But his timelines are not, the math is not mathing for Nazeer. His alibi is falling short. Because I don't believe Nazeer landed exactly 3 minutes after everything happened. So with this situation, again, Nazeer is supposed to be a friend of Shaquilla's. All of these people were people she trusted. Ciara said, was her money taken as well? How did they afford those? Or we don't know. But I mean, everyone, jury members, I mean, you know, y'all know how you travel when you're going out the country. You usually have, you know, you may have some international money and US money. And you're going to have, you know, some money. So, and she was there for business. So was she buying something for her vendor? Did she take a large sum of money? Did they check? Did her parents, it's the FBI looking at her credit card to see if maybe they took her American Express and got those last minute tickets? Because they brought back the luggage, but I haven't heard anything about the wallet. And if they were still there for 1 day, she should have had a lot of money in her wallet. Because when we travel out of town, we always take cash. So it's no word on the credit card, no word on the cash. But we do know that the friends were able to get an immediate international flight, practically less than 24 hours notice. So we don't know where the purse is, or if they took items from the purse. Was this a robbery? They knew she was there for business. They weren't, because they bums, they crusty and dusty. I went on all their Instagram profiles before they went private. Ain't nobody had nothing going on. Skimming and scamming. That's it. So unpacking everything, when they went on the trip, did she have money and they want her to mule and kind of be the sugar mama for them? And the guy who's recording saying fight back, they still haven't identified, but it wasn't Nazeer. So let me get the picture so we can put all of them up, because I want to make sure we get the full picture up, y'all. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I got one with all of them. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure we got the picture. Here they go. So, okay, so here are all the characters. And let me Let me get out, y'all. Let me get out of the frame. Sorry, I'm trying to get out the frame. Okay, so here's all the characters. Someone said, I heard she had 10K on her card to book the trip, and they used her card to get home. See? Boom. I already knew it. I could tell by Nazeer's little trifling little tank top, because he didn't have a quality one that was double seam, that he didn't have money for no last minute flight. Most people don't. So she had 10K on her card. So she probably took her American Express because she's an entrepreneur, and she had went there for a business endeavor. And also she might have booked it on her card, because usually if you're a business owner, you don't mind booking it on your card because you get points, and your points are your miles. And they used her card to go home. So this will be easily traced. And then it comes down to who booked it. Now, you know they're going to lie. So what the prosecutors can do is get the URL action from everyone's phone to see who booked it on whatever device. And now we're adding, in addition to the first degree deletion charges, we're adding fraud, conspiracy, conversion, and international wire fraud. Because when you do things across countries that is felonious, now we add the global to it, and it gets even more a heightened level or aggravated felony. Someone said the gold Amex has no limit. And if you think the gold ain't got a limit, please understand the platinum you could buy a house on. So if this woman has a heavy Amex, 10, 20, 30, 50,000, no one's talking about her money in her wallet. So were these broke friends also engaged in a robbery? And they shut down their pages because they got shook. So I can't see if any of these heifers and fellas got new lace fronts. But what we do know is everybody ain't your friend. And these people had dusty, crusty, broke energy. And please understand that these were men in here. There are women also. But it was men encouraged to fight like this is a Zeus fight club. So no one thought to defend her. And people are suspecting that the person who was saying, get up, get up, get up, was her best friend. Bright Mind says she heard that Winter has been fired from her job. Well, you know what, Bright Minds? God is on the throne. Good. Next stop, grab your orange jumpsuit and do not collect $200. Don't pass go straight to prison. Absolutely disgusting. No decorum, no regard for the mother, for the parents going through this. And what they thought, because criminals often aren't clever, is we can do it abroad. We can do it abroad, come back to the US, and then they can't get us. As if there's not a thing called extradition. And as much action between the cartel and the borders, baby, you don't think Mexico and the United States has an international treaty for extraditions to make it easier? The delusion. And the boys, because they're not men, who engaged in helping the attack. What I will say is, if you think Rikers Island or prison in America, please understand. Please understand your privileges mean nothing in Mexico. You are a gringo to them, okay? Locked up abroad, baby, you're going to learn today. And you get to go up in that prison with real gangsters and tell them that you're there because you decided to be the girl. So the 2-3 fellas that was in the room and encouraged this, they are the pussy poppers of the day. All their masculinity, you know where it's at? Right here in my hand. Right there. Beating on women, encouraging women to beat other women, and the jealous women that attacked this girl on an international excursion. The seed of jealousy will only harvest destruction for yourself. So all of these people, it's even hard to even be restrained with it. It's so disgusting and despicable. Who fights on vacation? Please don't be that person. So now Shanquella's parents are planning her memorial service. And Shanquella's parents had to spend thousands of dollars to get their child's body from Cabo, Mexico, back to North Carolina. And now they have to prepare for the services, and they have more questions than answers. And everyone came back and repeated like a parakeet the alcohol poisoning story. But what these silly, felonious, bussy-popping criminals did not realize is they are not even qualified to give a medical assessment of alcohol poisoning. And two, that is a medically objective test. So without any BAC, blood alcohol level test, where are they getting this alcohol poisoning? And they never even talked about the extent or amount of alcohol that was consumed. And how is it that Shanquella was allegedly so drunk and wasted, but everyone else was stone cold sober? The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing, y'all. So let's get into a statement from Nazeer, and then we're going to unpack all the lies so we can really, really see how far they're going. And then we'll get into the FBI's investigation of what they're looking into in the next steps. And also, what is Mexico's news saying about this? So let's dive in, y'all. So boom, we share the screen.
Years, unresponsive, on vacation, 2,000 miles away. I don't know if y'all caught me getting Instagram, and I was genuinely heartbroken that I went into a house to see a friend that I knew for 9 years, unresponsive, on vacation, 2,000 miles away. I don't know if y'all caught me getting on Instagram, and I was genuinely heartbroken that I went into a house to see a friend that I knew for 9 years, unresponsive, on vacation, 2,000 miles away. I don't know if y'all caught me getting.
So he's just trying to sell us that he has some type of empathy after he left this woman naked, sick, unresponsive, and slumped over a toilet in Mexico. And they had the gall and the nerve to pack her bags and bring, clothes back to her mom. Let's get into the comments and see how the public is feeling. Chili, y'all going to jail. Immediately jail. Lock them up, lock them up. I wonder how long this will play out. How does Mexico police handle these matters? Jail. So you found her unresponsive. Why you left her? Said the maid found her deleted. The story ain't adding up. So he continues to try to put out his narrative. He continues to try to create an alibi. And what's happening is he's digging himself further and further into a hole. He said he was genuinely heartbroken, but he didn't even stay to make sure her body made it back safe. So let's get into this crusty, dusty proof that he says he has to exonerate him. And this is Nazeer. We're looking at another statement because he said he has some receipts to exonerate him, guys.
I got on my flight to Cabo. As y'all seen on the post before this, it takes 3 hours to get to Cabo. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened on Friday. I don't know nothing else on the other. I don't know why it happened. Boom. So I'm thinking I'm going to turn up. My birthday was the last week, October 22nd. Y'all can see that because y'all been on my page. So I'm like, let me extend my birthday, and I'm going to go to this trip. I got asked to go on the trip in June, but I didn't reply because I didn't know what I was doing for my birthday since the next birthday was the next week after mine. So, where I was at? Oh, yes, I left on Saturday. The trip was from Friday to Monday, October 28th, 29th, 30th. I had a layover in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, at 10. So, what it was 6 to 9? Anyway, I got on my flight to Cabo at 11 o'clock. As y'all seen in the post before this, it takes 3 hours to get to Cabo. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened on Friday. I don't know nothing of it, don't know nothing about it, don't know why it happened. Boom. So I'm thinking I'm going to turn up. My birthday was the last week, October 22nd. Y'all can see that because I've been on my page. So I'm like, let me extend my birthday and I'm going to go this trip. Because I got asked to go on the trip in June, but I didn't reply because I didn't know what I was doing for my birthday since the next birthday was the next week after mine. So, where I was at? Oh, yes, I left on Saturday. Saturday. The trip was from Friday to Monday. October 28th, 29th, 30th. I had a layover in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas at 10. So, what it was 31st going home. 31st going, didn't even make it. So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m. I make a phone call. I make a phone call to everybody who there. Like I need the address. I need the address. So when during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. They told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. They got that because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. Hold on. I got my Bible. And I'm gonna put this blunt down. Because I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie on I'm not gonna do that. I'm not saving nobody else. I'm not protecting my ass. I'm just coming here to keep it real because y'all in my DMs going crazy and all this posting my address and stuff like that. 31st going home. Whatever I want, but it's not gonna be pretty. But when I got there, it took us an hour. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26. I instantly, as soon as I go in, I go to Kula. Kula didn't leave my side, none of that, till the nurse came. But that I had a layover and I go there. But
So as we can see, he's super shady, and his alibi is all over the place because he was doing so much to bring in details. He was like, "Well, the flight is 3 hours from." How did he say? He didn't say Cabo. He said it a different way. But if the flight was 3 hours and he left at 11, he said he landed at 2. Y'all, that's already a lot. Let's bust this down. 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Oh, 3 hours. Except he said Cabo time. So if he left at 11 o'clock his time, he wouldn't have arrived at 2 o'clock Cabo time. So already that timeline is totally dismantled because he forgot the time zones changed. Absolutely. And you notice he grabbed the Bible, but he never made any assurances or allegiances or pledges or any swearing on the Bible. So it was just performative. You know, he said he had to put down his blunt before he pray. I would hope so. Like, please, like, I ain't knocking you smoking, but please put down your weed if you're going before the Most High. CR said, how did he even afford a Mexico vacation? But we still don't know if Shanquella paid for this trip and it was like, oh, guys, I'll put it on my card and everybody hit me. You know how when you do a trip and you do the split and everybody send you the money? Was it one of those situations? Because what we just saw on the screen, he looked crusty and busty, like he not really no international travel aficionado. He's crusty and busty. And the fact that he went out of his way to try to separate himself and then his alibi fell apart because the time ain't add up. I left at 11, the flight is 3 hours, I landed at 2. How do you get there in exactly 3 hours if the time zone changes in both places? So he did all of that and told us all that mush mouth bullshit to prove what time he did and did not get there. But y'all, he couldn't just put up his flight itinerary. Wouldn't it have been easy just to throw the itinerary up on the screen? They say the cops take oaths to serve and protect, but they still I mean, the blunt in the Bible, just so, but y'all see, he never put the blunt down and he never picked the Bible back up. So he forgot to consummate his word. Because we knew if he did it in front of that mirror, it was going to go up in flames. Yeah, like this is insane. So Miss Shaquilla, they are saying alcohol poisoning, but it has come from Mexican officials, and also in the interview with her parents, there was no alcohol in Shaquilla's system. So not even clever with their lies. I Am Treasure said, why would he be in the bathroom standing up making a video? I don't know. I notice a lot of guys do videos in the bathroom. I don't know. I don't know if men don't like to hold a camera and just look at it, but I notice a lot of guys do that on TikTok too. I don't know. I mean, but maybe he's practicing small quarters and tight quarters for when he's in a cell getting his 3 hots in a cot. That's what I think. That's why he's in the bathroom. Crusty, busty, dusty, busty bopper who lets the women get attacked and ambushed. He was practicing for prison. He was practicing for prison. It was a prison practice drill. So when he was in the bathroom in the mirror, that's Nazeer doing a prison drill, and he's practicing for his photo shoots that he's going to give to his cellmate boyfriend when he's in prison for the rest of his life, getting his cheeks clapped. So he was in the bathroom simulating prison cosplay when he's going to be a boo thing for someone in the Mexican federales and lots of abroad. I see the Mexico edition. So Nazeer's alibi is defunct because he wanted to explain his itinerary, and somehow the plane that he was on takes 5 hours to get to Cabo instead of 3 hours because the time changed 2 hours. And instead of posting a flight itinerary, Nazeer, I know you scared and I know you looking at everything on YouTube. Post your itinerary. No one wants to see you with your Bible and your blunt. Okay? You can't figure out the balance between picking one up and putting one down, bruh. Post your itinerary, and also with your itinerary, let me see the last 4 numbers on the credit card. Did all the credit card numbers align? Was this Shaquilla's? So with this situation, there needs to be an investigation into her credit card transactions. There needs to be an investigation into everyone's iCloud. Anonymous, if you listening, Anonymous, I love you. Anonymous, come through. Y'all always come through with the iCloud, but accessing it from there. And prosecutors could tap the towers in Mexico, the towers in the US. So prosecutors actually have 2 avenues to access cloud data because they did it abroad and then they recorded it. And also in Mexico, we have to look at, guys, is it a crime to record and encourage criminality, ambush, or in America, usually when you beat someone to their passing, we call it lynching. Lisa said, did the nurse come? This is all coming from the criminals, suspected criminals. So they said it was a nurse, then they said it was a doctor, then they said it was someone with the concierge staff. But we haven't heard anyone from Linda Villas. And that's the actual part of the villas up on the screen, guys. So we haven't heard from any medical officials. Everything we've heard has come from these felonious individuals and very shady. Oh, tell me, Dr. Rashad. I love Dr. Rashad. Super smart on it, indisputable. And I think he is covering this. So you already know. So yeah, I think everyone's covering this because they thought that they could commit the crime in Mexico and then come back to the States. With friends like this, who needs enemies? And this is why your parents always tell you to make sure you have friends that you equally yoke with. Welcome, Ty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's get into a little bit of international law as far as what Mexico officials, how they handle crime. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so let's get into a legal international law breakdown. So a close look at the deletion laws in Mexico. In Mexico, guys, the legal definition offers quite a nuanced definition of the term homicide. According to Article 302, a homicide occurs if someone deprives someone else of their life. This occurs if a person fatally injures another person by harming their organs incurably, as per Clause 1 of Article 303. Mexico's federal penal code also states that the discovery of a deceased person shall only be deemed a homicide if two experts perform an autopsy and find evidence of a fatal injury. In simpler words, a homicide must involve a fatal injury as per Mexican law. So we do have fatal injuries with spinal cord injuries. And she has several injuries, and one of the blows were final and fatal. So according to the Mexican Penal Code, 302 and 303, having a fatal injury, which means, change of address to heaven, that is a precursor. So going a little bit deeper, because they break it down, homicide during a fight. It is understandable for people to get involved in a scrap over a disagreement like bars or nightclubs. But what if it results in someone's death? According to Article 308 of Mexico's Federal Penal Code, if you commit a homicide during a fight, whether inadvertently or otherwise, you face up to 12 years in prison. So we have 12 years in prison on the books. And that's the least we can do. But I think we need definitely more. The penalty for committing a homicide in a fight can be compounded if you're charged with other offenses simultaneously, like being under the influence of drugs, covered under Article 195. In other words, being intoxicated to unmentionables won't exempt you from facing a lengthy prison sentence for committing a homicide during a fight. And why they say that is because in the United States, there are some jurisdictions that has diminished capacity, which says that, hey, I was not in my right state of mind, so it's impossible for me to have committed the crime. I had diminished capacity. I wasn't in my normal head. I was messed up. But Mexico's law says we don't give a damn about diminished capacity. Drunk or not, you can't say, oh, I was high, I was loopy. Nope. You still go to the slammer. You go to the slammer locked up abroad. 1, 2, 3, 4. What 21 Savage says? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fellas need to be locked up. So let's get back into y'all Mexico's law, because I'm gonna read it, and I know it's long, but I want everyone to just really understand. We're dealing with a different jurisdiction, so I want us all to make sure everyone's, just apprised. So let me move myself out the way and get the law back up on the board. And y'all hit the like button. Now I'm begging for likes. It's Thursday, it's Free Friday. I'm begging for likes as we go over the international law. So as you guys can see, homicide during a fight is punishable under Article 308 of the Mexican Federal Penal Code. Now, the question that legal scholars will have to analyze is this considered a fight? A fight is defined as mutual combat in equal forces. But if multiple people attacked her, is that legitimately considered a fight? And give me one more. I'm scrolling down. not that one. It's one more area. Okay, so nope, not that. Okay, so in Mexico, how do they deal with premeditation? So let's dive into the international law for how do you know if a homicide is premeditated? This is an extremely important question that dictates whether a perpetrator is charged with a qualified or unqualified homicide. In Mexico, only premeditated homicides are considered qualified. According to Article 315 of the Penal Code, premeditation is presumed when the perpetrator intentionally commits a homicide after reflecting on the crime. So after she had been beaten and bruised, once they knew something was wrong, the criminality extended because they knew there was harm, they knew they inflicted injury and ignored it. So they had a reflection period and a correction period, and they used neither. Because if they would have called for help immediately instead of playing all these games, Shanquella Robinson could have still been with us. So in addition, if a homicide has occurred due to a flood, fire, or explosives, grenade, well, none of this applies. Oh, okay. So homicides involving the use of poisons, intoxicants, suffocation, or venereal coartation. What? Oh, that can't be what I think it is. Are also considered premeditation. So if they purposely got her drunk or put something in her drink, that checks the box in Mexico for premeditation. Femicide. And I'm just going to scroll down to the law part of it. According to Article 325, femicide, which is the deletion of women, is ruled to take place if a woman loses her life in a homicide and there's evidence of violence before her passing. If the victim suffered degrading injuries, such as mutilation, or there's evidence of a post-deletion rape, the perpetrator is also charged with femicide. Moreover, if the perpetrator had an affective relationship with the female victim before the homicide was committed, it's ruled femicide. And one of the guys they speculated was a tenderoni. So he would be categorized in the femicide category in Mexico's federal penal code under Article 325 because of that personal, intimate relationship. It is worth noting that only one of the above mentioned circumstances can be true for the perpetrators to be charged with femicide in Mexico. Additionally, if the individuals who committed femicide is a public servant, oh, well, that doesn't apply to us in this case. So overall, Mexico's homicide laws are designed with several factors in mind. Firstly, they're designed to punish the perpetrator without robbing them of a chance to change into a better person. Now, that's just fluff. That's just what they have to say. Once you get in the criminal justice system, there are crimes that are considered beyond correctability. And there's a spectrum. This is high on the spectrum, this particular case. So while it's tempting to assume that a person commits homicide deserves to pass away and return, this outcome ignores various factors that drive people to delete other people. Okay, so they're just giving public policy on it. So ultimately, Mexico's homicide laws balance severity with rehabilitation. Having fought a long and bloody battle against the country's cartel, the Mexican government knows the fighting fighting fire with fire isn't ideal when it comes to crimes like homicides. So in Mexico, the way that they structure homicide law is there's a baseline. It appears that they keep adding, elements. If there's femicide, if there's maliciousness, and I remember someone asked, was it any area about hate crime? Based in this overview, I didn't see anything about, hate crime, but we did see their treatment of femicide and how they categorize that for punitive purposes. So in Mexico, it's also based on this analysis, it's not automatic that someone gets the deletion sentence in a homicide case. They dissect it, all of the authorities investigate, and they have to decide the scope of the punishment. But we see that it starts with 12-year sentences, and they can add on each layer as they tick off boxes to say, was it premeditated? Was it femicide? Did it have any of these other layers that makes the crime even more egregious? And also what stood out to me was talking about the humiliation and mutilation of someone. And I think that Shanquella Robinson's case would definitely fall within that category in Mexico's penal code because they definitely humiliated her by having this circulate on a public platform while she was being abused. And then they mutilated her because looking at the picture, you could also see that this woman, her hair was askew. And look at, she started the trip with long tresses. And by the end, her hair is askew. So they're mutilating her. She's totally declothed, disrobed. They said plea deals. Now, I am not sure how plea deals work for individuals who are abroad. And also for a crime like deletion, something like this, a plea deal, it's just a matter of how much time they're going to serve. Because when you're not a citizen in most legal arenas, when you're not a citizen in a nation and you engage in some type of criminality, the law sometimes is a little more heavy-handed on that person because they're like, you came here knowing the laws of the land and decided to engage in criminality, which feels more egregious because you should be on your best behavior when you're not home. So with this, I don't really know how it's going to work out, guys. Like, I don't know if they're going to give them the maximum sentence or if they're going to give them a lower end sentence. I don't think they should get a plea deal. I agree. I don't think they should get a plea deal. I don't think they should get a plea deal at all. Because what bothers me and what I can't get out of my head, guys, is literally when someone is injured, the time after the injury is critical moments. And it seems like they continue to party, eat tacos, margaritas while she was withering and wasting away. And it's still, things are not adding up because they said slumped over the toilet. Y'all, I think they drug her body there and slumped her there because if she had a broke spine, there was no way for her to move. And that's something else we're not talking about. Because when we saw the original, pictures, you see how she slumped over and she never got off the ground. They were beating her mercilessly. Her parents said that one of the sisters even asked, did you guys, jump my sister? What happened? Like, what went down? And really was alcohol poisoning, parakeeting that over and over and over again. But if she was slumped over the toilet, based on everything we saw, guys, if her spine, based on the accident, they drug her there. She wasn't in a mobile position. She just was not. She was not mobile. And we saw that with her on the ground. And also, even if you're in a fight, the average person is just, it's not normal unless you're an exhibitionist or a nudist, but most people feel a little awkward fully nude in front of a room full of people. And she didn't even like attempt to, robe herself. So, something was wrong. It was, but we're believing that the spinal injury with the compounded, as we hear the cracks, you hear the actual thud on the video, was the fatal blow. And people are saying it was Winter with her big old hands that did the fatal blow. So the FBI and the Department of State is investigating this. So if they are convicted, will they serve time in Mexico or the US? So if they're convicted in Mexico, they'll serve in Mexico, unless somehow the US wants to extradite for some type of crime with credit card or covering up a crime. So once they came back to the United States and continued to cover it up, the conspiring to conceal felonious activity. So it could be an instance where they serve a sentence in Mexico, and at the end of what I pray to be a very lengthy sentence, they have to serve time in the United States of America for crimes that were adjacent, auxiliary, and connected to it. So the FBI has launched an investigation. And I know we got people abroad, y'all, FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They the nerds, them and the CIA. But the Department of State deals with relationships between international entities. So if you're ever abroad and something pops off, you will contact the Department of State and they will tell you where to go as far as which United States embassy. Because I've traveled and a lot, things happen. But literally, your Department of State is your contact for international communication. And then it's the embassy. The U.S. embassies are like your plug. So once you get to another country, the U.S. embassy is your plug. So these people did not go to what is there to protect you. The U.S. embassy has nurses, it has doctors, it has translators, it has insurance, it has Red Cross access. The U.S. embassy actually could have helped them get the body home. And we know as Americans, if something hits the fan, your safety place is getting on U.S. soil. And a U.S. embassy in other countries is considered U.S. soil. So they didn't take this issue to the U.S. embassy to say, we need assistance. And I don't know if anyone speaks Spanish, so how did they communicate with nurses and doctors speaking medical terminologies in Spanish if none of these people demonstrated a expertise in Spanish? So yeah, they body slammed her and she never got up after the slam. And if you have thank you so much for the super chat. Let me read the super chat. Y'all, they be flying so fast, the comments. Thank you so much. Eyes Wide Open says, does Mexico law apply when they are not citizens and have already left the country? Do FBI get involved? Can Mexico get away with doing nothing? Okay, so does Mexico law apply when they're not citizens? Absolutely. Let me get up on the screen. Wherever you go, don't believe because you're a U.S. citizen, you can just wild out. When in Rome, do as in Rome. So if you commit a crime in another country, yes, they can lock you up right then and there. The only people that has some type of sovereign immunity is ambassadors. Sovereign immunity means you can't arrest me. And I mean, rumor has it, that's why all ambassadors shady, but we ain't gonna even get into that. So let me make sure I got all your question. Okay, so does Mexico law? So yes, Mexico law does apply to any citizen. If you're on Mexican soil, that's the law of the land. And when they've already left. So yes, they still could enforce it. They would just have to extradite. And extradite is just like basically saying, hey, police over there, can you send them back? Because they was over here cutting up. And usually countries can say, do you guys want to indict US for the crime? Because this is, and it wouldn't be surprising because the US may say, hey, we'll handle the indictment. This is involving all United States citizens. So sometimes with extradition, Another country may say, we'll handle it since it was our citizens. So Mexico recently, politically, they're trying to clean up. It's so much drama with the cartel. It's beef at the border because they say Biden being real shady at the border doing you know what, if you know, you know. So it's been friction already with the United States and Mexico officials' political relationships. And that's despite the fact that we are all in NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is supposed to make business relationships between all North American countries easier. Not the case with Mexico. So at this point, we don't have any information about the medical care from medical authorities in Mexico. It's all the people, the friends. And it's so many people, y'all. I was listening to, YouTube play. I was getting my Cynthia G, y'all, just enjoying her. And then I tuned into Sean Davy Way because I want to shout out other people who are covering this story because I think it's bigger than just like the clicks. Like for real, this is important. So I know Sean Davy Way is doing an excellent expose. Chronicles Speaks always do a phenomenal expose. And I'll post other people who are giving you guys exposes because I know people want up to date. Call Me Kinfolk did an interesting, very interesting, Call Me Kinfolk, super smart, did gematria, looked at the numbers on it. Because people are looking and saying, is this some type of, sacrificial act that the friends engaged for elevation? And people are asking that because this happened so close and so adjacent to Halloween, which we know, according to the satanic calendar, is a high-ranking Luciferian holiday. So it's a lot. So there's the occult layer of it that people are talking about. The questions that we're raising in the jury at Court Chronicles is, where is her wallet? How much money did Shanquella have in her wallet? And did her parents get a wallet empty, or did they have all her credit cards and belongings? I am. And even though I'm traveling, I'm probably going to do a story while I'm in the airport tomorrow. Say, please follow. I keep checking back. I keep checking back with you for updates. Absolutely. And Ty, and I just told everyone, November is my absolute busiest time of the year. And y'all know my job is pretty intense. But after, I think, next week I have court every single day. But after next week, I'm back to my normal schedule. But this we're going to keep following. And I think it's important to look at the international law, because this is going to require the United States agencies to be diplomatic and work with Mexican officials and their agencies. And laws may differ, so sometimes power trips can happen. And the question is, will these agencies give Shanquella Robinson the Gabby Petito treatment, if you know what I mean? So there are still so many unanswered questions about this. But what we do know is there's video footage. We do see at least 2 people engaged in the physical and fatal blows, what we presume to be the ones. Also, we hear a bystander who is a bussy popping male encouraging them to engage in fighting instead of breaking it up, and also recording it and laughing. Also, we have Nazeer with the Alibi that is falling apart faster than Kim Kardashian's blonde strands after Pete left her. So we have all of these things to look at. But what we do know is Mexico's penal code is very aggressive with how they handle deletions. It's covered all throughout the Mexican penal code. We saw 147, Article 302, wants to deal with femicide. So it's something that they take very serious. So will they do a big trial and have them locked up in Mexico, or say, US, that's on you, you guys deal with it? Mexico has first dibs to decide to prosecute. And if they say we don't want to utilize the resources, because guys, prosecuting is expensive. It's just, like subpoenas, depositions, paperwork, video footage, forensic analysts to put together all the videos to make sure it's not doctored. It really can become problematic and expensive. So Mexico may say, we prefer for, major cases like this to relegate our resources for our own citizens. US, you can go ahead with the prosecutorial efforts. PD, thank you so much for the super chat. PD said, hey, April, just stopping by to buy you a small smoothie. Keep doing a great job. Thank you, PD. How do you know I like smoothies? You must have. How do you know? I love a good smoothie. And my favorite smoothie, y'all, is the Skin Glow smoothie. That's what I call it. But it's just carrots, ginger, and spinach. That's the one I love. So thank you, PD. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you a ton. So a lot of people, guys, are saying that they think that this was premeditated. And I mean, it's so many unanswered questions. Where's the money? Where's her credit card? And we're presuming an American Express, because we heard very big limits, $10,000. Where's her credit card? Where's the cash that she had? Not only the US cash, but the pesos. Because when you travel abroad, you convert money. Where's that? How were the friends able to get a last minute flight? Who really came into the room, or did anyone come into the room? Was it the maid who found her? Was it the nurse who came and gave assistance? Did the nurse magically walk downstairs to the hotel lobby and become a certified doctor in 30 seconds to come back up and announce the doctor? And is Winter trans? And this matters not because we anti-trans, but this is talking about strength and physicality. Because a lot of people are questioning the ability to slam someone, thud, and take them out. You say you have to be very careful traveling outside of the, when traveling to many places. Honestly, Treasure Honey, you got to be very careful in the US of A. Being a woman and a melanated woman, where people have such aggression sometimes, will also feel that we don't deserve protection because, I don't know, they lie and say melanated women aren't feminine, that somehow they don't see us as worthy of protection. So as Black women, especially with Shanquella, we got to look at the elements of colorism, because the media, it doesn't like a chocolate darling. It just does not. So with Shanquella, we're looking at that layer too. How will the media treat this clearly successful businesswoman? Well, also, she is unambiguously Black. So we are super grateful for the video. Even though if the video didn't come out, guys, we still would have had questions, because the parents, naturally, most parents are gonna be like, I need to find out what happened to my baby. Once the autopsy came back with the spinal injury and no alcohol in her system, it was already red flags going off. And I'm still unclear, but I wanted to find out and do more research. Was Shaquilla a big drinker, or is she a social drinker, or does she drink when she turn up? Like, what's her range? I Am Treasure said, my nieces and one of my nephews travel all the time, and they do their research prior, so they will know how to dress, how to behave, how to dress and behave, so to speak. Absolutely. But in this instance, there is nothing that could have been avoided, because these were her own friends. People say plea deals coming, but remember, you guys, we are dealing with the Mexicans federally, their legal system. So the lax system that exists in the United States that we often see may not happen in Mexico. And remember, the judicial system, as lax as it is, no legal system likes when outsiders come to your country and commit crimes. It's even more disrespectful. It's like, wait a minute, your ass is here, you need to behave. So I'm praying that it's no plea deals, but I need to research for you guys Mexico's prosecutorial tiers, so we can find out, is the plea deal system similar to what we have in the United States? Because I watched a lot of Locked Up Abroad episodes in Mexico, and I never hear about plea deals, but maybe on Locked Up Abroad, they only give the juicy ones. But there are multiple videos on Reddit. Not sure how much long they'll stay up. There are videos on YouTube, and I just didn't want to play it because Y'all, also, I was in YouTube jail too. I forgot that because of the Kyrie video. YouTube gave me a strike, put me in prison for a whole week. It was locked. So I forgot about that part. Yes, I was in YouTube jail. So definitely, I don't want to put up violent content and, have YouTube on my head. So say if they're convicted, will they serve time in Mexico or the US? They can serve time in both. So Mexico may say they need to serve their time, and then the US could come and add their charges for concealing and covering up a crime after they return to the United States. And if these people remember what's going to get them, y'all, this is what's going to really get them. What's going to get them is they so busy giving statements, they have to, I'm sure the FBI is going to want a statement. And they're going to be able to pick apart every single thing they said and cross-reference it to what they put on social media. So at this point, it's just a matter, literally, it is just a matter of time. Because they ran from Mexico, and y'all, this is the gag. They can't skip the country because this case is huge. They definitely can't go to peaceful Canada because they ain't having it. They can't run to Mexico. That's where they committed the crime. And they're hiding in the US, but the FBI is investigating them. And every single one of these people have been doxxed. Not that I'm encouraging it, but I ain't really got no sympathy for Stone Cold deleters. So how did the video get out? So someone said it was posted on Reddit, but it's unclear how this video got out. Now, my pure speculation, maybe someone posted it on a private little setting before, like, oh, look what was going on, and snatched it down really quick. Okay, jury member Crystal Davis is giving us tea from the Instagram. From Instagram, like a grandma from Instagram. So jury member Crystal Davis says, from watching her Instagram, she traveled a lot and did parties. So I'm led to believe she knew her limitations and how to handle herself. Okay, so that's a good assessment. For someone who travels a lot, you will know how to contain yourself. You're not going to turn up in a foreign country. Keep your head on a swivel. And remember, these people never, ever left the hotel. Like, they didn't even make it out the room, out the villa. And someone else said, I don't even think she could even drink after the beating. I think after the beating, the clock started ticking immediately on her address changed to heaven. And I think after the beating, and this is purely my medical speculation, just basic knowledge, I think what could have exacerbated and accelerated her injuries and a fatality is if they don't know that her spine is fractured and they're moving her body, dragging her from one room to the other room, trying to put her body over the toilet to make it look like because we knew what it was. They wanted to make it look like she was throwing up over the toilet. She's so pretty, beautiful. And I mean, she was serving. I mean, Miss Mamas was living life. And guilt trip, one of them leaked it. Just like Ahmaud Arbery when one of them leaked it. So and y'all remember, anytime someone's injured, what's the first thing that EMTs yell when they get to the scene? No one touch the person. Don't move them. So if her spine is already ruptured, and your spine is the neurological output, it's the brain for your body's limbs. Your spine tell your body and nerve everything to do. So your spine is totally shut off. It's not doing any functions. And the first function, paralyzation. You're not walking. You can't sit up. And if you look in the video, from the moment she hit the ground, she was like this, like a Skeletor. So she has a spine injury. They don't like her. So, they drug her body. It wasn't like they trying to be careful, pat her head. No, Nazeer said he up in there playing Summer Walker, but didn't even notice a bruise and a bump on her head, on her face. Nazeer sat up there, the blunt and Bible, crusty, dusty, busty that we had on the screen earlier, said that he didn't even notice that she had this bruised eye and a busted lip. So if you didn't notice it, sir, you were not tending to her, nor paying attention to her, nor caring for her. Because it's impossible to be caring for someone one-on-one, ask them if they need anything, looking at them, and you can't see bruises. I don't know how he could even say that with a straight face, but a pussy pop will pop. And the fact that he was so adamant to put his alibi out and it fell apart because instead of putting his flight itinerary, y'all remember I left at 11 o'clock East Coast time. It's a 3-hour flight and I landed at 2. Like, sir, listen, sir, just stop. Well, no, he didn't say East Coast time. I think he was Texas time. I think Nazeer came from Texas. Shanquella was coming from Charlotte. And we talked about why she might have been naked. Maybe she was getting, because I'm thinking if they got there that day, I don't know about them, but at least me, when I travel, as soon as I get to the hotel, it's like, all right, let me, one, check out this room, get up on this patio, boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to take a shower, freshen up, because I'm ready to, I want to get that airport off me, get all the germs off me, put on my fresh little vacay. So maybe she was getting cute to go to the pool. So hate, rage, and jealousy. And I don't know if the guys in the room have come out the closet, but I'm just here to tell y'all, it's declared right here on Kourt Chronicles today, these are gay men, because no straight men is going to sit there and watch women fight to the death. And no one told about the fight that they was just jeering and cheering about 15 and a half minutes prior. Now, listen, I don't know about everybody else in the chat, but at least I know the black people I know, if it's been a fight, everybody got to do a playback. Everybody got to tell what just happened. 15 minutes, they still talking about it. They still yapping it up. They still chopping it up about it. Now, what type of, y'all just had a full-blown guerrilla warfare fight, and 15 minutes later, it's just tacos and tequila? Dallas was the layover. Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah, he went, listen, I'm not listening to anything he's saying on his little DSLs except guilty when he's giving his plea. That's all the energy I have for him. And he knew, let me get my Bible. Never opened it, ain't touch it, ain't say anything. All he want to do is get up on social media in that crusty, dusty bathroom. And I'm not house shaming him, just dim light. He ain't put no effort to give this raggedy alibi that's fallen apart by the second. And judging by that crusty, dusty little white beater, we all suspect that this man might have played a role in using Shanquella's credit card to get back home. Because remember, Nazeer is even more interesting. Nazeer landed the day before at 3 p.m. And the next day he got a flight to fly international from Cabo. And Cabo is on California. Cabo is under California, to give you a gauge, from the East Coast. So this ain't no cheap flight. It is not a cheap flight. So he landed and literally flew out the next morning. No, he was the cleanup guy. He was the alibi guy. And somehow they fell apart and people's story didn't really sink. But he was the cleanup guy. He's the alibi guy. But he's not also telling us who was the man in the video saying, Quilla, get up, fight back. So you can't say that you're heartbroken and you're doing nothing but protecting the felonious Dusties. So Nazeer, I'm sorry, look, yeah, I had to censor myself because I was about to call him something that was not a Kourt Chronicles essence. So I had to pull it in. Nazeer is if y'all do the word I was thinking, I can't even say that, is definitely a weak, emasculated, effeminate man. And I'm trying to hard. I wish we could have After Dark because I really want to call him something. So Nazeer doing all that hemming and hawing with that alibi, but he couldn't give Miss Shanquella Robinson's mother and father the dignity of explaining what happened to her child with logical syllogisms that made sense. And let's get into it. Flew back with less than 12 hours later, and he paid to check her bag. Because remember, they brought her luggage back. So y'all brought her luggage back, took it to her mom, but no one thought, I'm going to stay here until, make sure the affairs are handled. And someone said he's accused of raping a girl in high school. I saw that in a comment, and I didn't want to put it in a presentation because I didn't have time to research it. But they said that Nazeer was raping girls in high school. And the comment I actually saw was, I think it was on the Neighborhood Talk, and a young lady put out a comment and said, no one believed me. But Nazeer, since he's engaged in that graping lifestyle, I wish him a lifetime of graping in Mexico. I'm sure he's very much, tenderoni. He's slimmy, trimmy, he's thin. He has a nice slender waist. So I think Nazeer is going to be a perfect candidate. And people are saying, where is her phone? We still don't know. Or was it broken? Where is her phone? Did she try to call anyone? Was it lost? Because when they threw her, was it thrown about? So we don't know where her phone is. We don't know where her wallet is with the $10,000 credit card. We don't know where her US cash was. We don't know where her Mexican pesos was. And we know she was there on business, so she probably had some type of documents and money to handle her transaction. You don't fly abroad to take care of business without having your money in each currency, your cashier's checks, your credit cards, and everything you need to do to facilitate an international transaction in that moment. And they're saying she was there for business, but we don't even know who was the business partner that she was to meet with. Has anyone talked about the business partner? Who were these business partners that she's scheduled to meet with, but she never made it? Has she traveled to Cabo before on business? Can they attest to, her capacity? Would she turn up, or was she a modest drinker, have fun, but not too much? Well, good for Nazeer. And he'll be clicking that Bible that he forgot to open. So she has a hair business, but they said that she was going to Mexico for a business trip. So she traveled a lot and did different stuff with all her vendors. So she had a braiding business. So we don't know if it was something related to one of her hair vendors or some other endeavor, because she never made her meeting. And this is the crazy part. She was going there for business and invited the friends, just like, oh, let me make it, fun. And they say also she has a boutique. So this business meeting could have been with a vendor for clothing, could have been a vendor for hair, or maybe some new pursuit, because it's the end of the year. And a lot of influencers, girls like her, they like to launch stuff at the top of the year. They say, I know they can't sleep, someone is going to snap. I don't think so. I think they thought, and they still think low key, oh, we did it in Mexico, we just can't go back to Mexico. Like, I really think they think they're going to get away with it. And I must say, I am concerned. Hey, Deion Sanders, welcome to Kourt. And I want to do another one on the parents, because I think that's important to look at. But on this one, we're just going to stay right here with the suspects who all played a role in the brutal beating, berating, declothing, disrobing, and fatally, deleting Miss Shanquella Robinson by force. Someone said she had it going on business-wise. Proud, not jealous. Yeah, like on her Instagram page, she was very successful. She was a pop and braider. Like, she's influencer level. She's a pop and braider. And she, did her content. You see her look over here. She's slaying. She did excellent content. She always was serving a look. And, she designed her head to toe, so she fly. Unlike Mr. Dusty Nazeer that we saw. Someone said, I wonder if she invited her friends because she was afraid to go with the vendor, so they thought she would become some type of protection. That could be a potential, especially with it being, men there too. Because she was initially slated to go alone. So maybe she did invite friends thinking that that would be a cloak of protection in between her and the vendors if anything went astray, went afoul during her business meeting. And especially, that's smart when you're doing business in another country. If you don't speak the language, you better have some protection because you may not be sure if someone's plotting your demise or giving you praise and adoration. Said it was a birthday celebration. Yeah. So it was, I think, Nazeer's birthday. So initially, Shanquella had this trip planned for business. She invited her friends because they hadn't hung out and it was their birthday. So in her mind, she like, this is a 2-for-1. And Nazeer, I think, is the one who's supposed to be that bussy popper, is supposed to be her best friend. Like, look, we all don't have friends, get drunk, whatever. Like, listen, I'm not gonna let you run around naked. Nah, I got you. Let me get your robe. You don't have too many drinks. I'm not gonna let you get beat. I'm not gonna just ignore you if you slouched over. And the girl fighting her was October 30th. You mean on October 30th? So I noticed that. Someone said they all look so unkept, and she was the only kept one. I mean, I'm curious if mom probably wouldn't know, but did they steal her designer? Because is that weird? They left her body there, but brought back the suitcase. That's y'all, you check the bag. Oh yeah, his birthday is October 23rd, Nazeer. And hopefully his next birthday will be in prison. So Nazeer has come out with an alibi, but he's forgotten in the court of law, we need evidence. So all that word vomit that he came out and said, we could care less. We need to see our itinerary. But most importantly, I want to see how all these broke heifers got back to the United States on a 1 day's notice, getting international flights. And where is Shanquella's business credit card that we suspect is an American Express? Where is this missing $10,000 credit card? Wait, someone said, hold on, do you remember Todd spilling tea? Said the third girl that was there was said to go last minute because her sister was deleted the day before and then got caught up in this crap in Mexico. And Shanquella passes the next day. That ain't crazy. It's something I'm gonna cover more parts of this because I have to do it piece by piece. But it's more to this. It's so much more to this. Someone said, was she pregnant? I don't have any confirmation of that. I haven't heard that anywhere. But as soon as I get some medical reports that I'm trying to get my hands on, I will definitely let you guys know. But her parent didn't say that. Her parents didn't mention that, and I didn't see it in any of the reports that I saw so far. And Nazeer went, the mom talked about how he came and brought her suitcase. Something about packing, y'all, let's think about the psychology of this. They had to pack and fold her stuff or just toss it in the bag, check their bag and check her bag. It's so random that you leave your whole friend, but you bring back her suitcase and we have no word about her purse and her wallet. Sounds like they was just rummaging through her stuff. Right. She was saying she won't fight back. But if you listen to it real loud, when she says no toward the end of it, it sounds slurred. And that's also a sign of spinal cord injury, speech impediment, paralyzation, posture decline, where your inability to just erect yourself, and then the speech impediment that kicks in. So a beautiful girl running up a big bag. And because she had these crusty, dusty friends and bussy poppers around her that exuded jealousy, they decided to take her out and we suspect rob her of her credit card, her designer, and everything. And just like the people in New Jack City got the nerve to go and try to pay respects to the mom and take back the daughter's suitcase after they left her daughter's body in Mexico. With friends like this, who needs enemies? So they on social media, and I also heard that one of the young ladies said that she's doing an interview to the highest bidder. The highest bidder will be the cartel that's running you in Mexico when you're locked up abroad. Even if they don't, and this is the beautiful part about phones, because they on the delete marathon right now, and they thinking, oh, I could go to my cloud and delete it. See, what they don't realize is the clouds count keystrokes. So y'all, when I was a prosecutor, what people didn't realize, when you get phone records, we don't get to just see the record. We see what you deleted, when you deleted it. So we literally can see if you recorded something, so watch something on social media and then delete. We see keystrokes. So the documents that, so they think they're doing something, deleting pictures or go in the trash can and delete. The cloud snitches on you because the cloud will tell your keystrokes. So literally, these individuals think that they're avoiding deletion charges in the United States. But what they don't realize is the Mexican Constitution's treatment of non-citizens is very different. And non-citizens don't share the same rights and privileges that a Mexican citizen would in the judicial court. So yes, they have a court for due process, but simply stated, baby, that ain't America. So they ain't gonna get no special privileges for it. Yeah, how do you go to Mexico after your sister passes away and then your friend passes away? So we need to check whoever that is with a sister passing away and a friend. Does this bitch have insurance policies on people? Because I want to know. Because these are things people don't like to think about. Was it $1 million insurance policy taken out on this woman? Her mom said she talked to her daughter. Her daughter did not sound distressed. Her daughter did not sound intoxicated. Her daughter did not sound afraid. Her daughter did not sound like she was whispering or trying to hide. Her daughter was just simply like, we just got here and we're getting tacos. That's the last time she talked to her daughter. So her mom had no indication or belief or reason to believe that she needed to have concern. And her mom and her parents were even more relaxed, we can assume, because she's, oh, my baby girl's out the country, but she's with all her friends. He said Quilla was in the bathroom slumped over, but I think that's after they beat her and drug her and put her over the toilet to give the illusion that she was drunk. And Quilla's mom said that she was too trusting, total sweetheart, very kind. And she went on vacation with these crusty people that call themselves friends. Yeah, everyone's saying they put her over the toilet. So y'all, please trust your intuition. If someone giving you a vibe or throwing you a frequency, just don't let people gaslight you out of your intuition. Please, y'all, don't let anyone gaslight you out your intuition. With Shanquella, the FBI and the Department of State are working together to dissect this. And usually FBI, I feel like they're involved. We know that that is metadata. And someone put it up about the metadata. So broken bones, parents spending thousands of dollars to get the body back. And all these raggedy friends did was make sure her suitcase came back without her purse, credit card, and wallet. And again, they talked about alcohol poisoning. But y'all check this out. It takes at least a few hours for your alcohol poisoning test. How were they able to determine alcohol poisoning if she never had a blood alcohol test administered for her BAC levels. So someone said, do I think the villa had cameras? Yeah, I do. And that's why I put up pictures of the villa, because I was trying to get as many angles as I could. And I'm going to get us some more. But hold on, let me get pictures of the villa. I'm not sure if this is their exact villa because I need to figure out which number they were in. But let me put up pictures of the villa. I'm pretty sure that it was cameras at this location. Most resorts have cameras. So, okay, so in this one, guys, you see there is the patio. Most villas, if there's a patio to the outside, there should be cameras usually. But hold on, let me pull up the villa so we can look and see potential camera spots. I want to show you the other. Yeah, because after they deleted her, I think it's psychologically weird to sit there and pack someone's suitcase that you know you just delete. Like that's beyond barbaric. Like that's insane. And I'm putting and people may dispute, want to argue with me on it, but I'm putting a heightened responsibility on the men. Because all these men nowadays talk about submission and they can't lead, blah, 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 blah. But when it's time to be a man, you let girls catfight until the death. It was no real men in that room. And hold on, guys, let me just pull it up here. The villa. I want to show you guys what it looks like. And based on what I saw, I think there are a lot of cameras. Let me share the screen. Okay, so y'all, let's check out. Okay, so they were at Villa Linda, and several different views of the establishment. This appears to be one of the main pools. And let's just go all the way over there to the cabosvillas.com. But this is one of the main pool areas that I saw on a lot of them. And I'm going to zoom in because I'm not sure if that's a camera I see or. Ooh, now y'all, this was nice. This was, how are they up in there fighting? So on the villa photo that I'm looking at, guys, the 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know if those are lights or if those are cameras. So do you, okay, let me see if I can make it bigger. Can y'all see the full screen? $1,300 a day. And y'all see the 1, 2, 3, 4. See, we need to get a night picture to see if those are cameras right there. And then we see it's vegetation, but it's more here. And it looks like a little path. And they usually have camera in Mexico in the trees. They really do. A lot of the villas have them very discreet. So this is a picture of let's see, the roof. So do you guys see any cameras or where it looks like it might be any cameras anywhere? Okay, and let me put the villas back up, guys. I'm just trying to get another angle so we can look and see if it's visible cameras at this location. Try to decide is if the cameras were working, because a lot of times resorts that have cameras to make you feel comfortable, and then the camera ain't working. So then we need to zoom in, see a picture of it at night, and then see if it's a red or green light. So let's go. And I'm sure they do sunset pictures so we can go all the way in. And they were staying at the Villa Linda in Cabo. Okay, so we got the villa back up. So this is the main infinity and jacuzzi tub. And let me make sure that you guys see the shared screen. Uh-oh, it's not sharing. There it is. Okay, so this is the main pool in the Villa Linda. And we're going to go through the pictures, and here's exactly what I needed to see. So looking at this angle of the villa, I can't see any cameras that's visible. I see the lights, but I don't see anything on the actual roof or ceiling. But this is only one angle of the resort. And again, this is the main area. And I'm looking along the roof, guys, to see if they got any of those, like, the security solar cameras that they have that swivel. Okay, so let's see if it's any cameras up here. No, it just looks like lights. But I think those are cameras on the other villa, those little black things I see over there. I think so. Listen, how are they fighting in paradise, y'all? Look at this. This is the villa where they were. And as you guys can see with the resort in this picture, the villas are kind of isolated. So if they're yelling and screaming, you see how it's across the street and it's a lot of vegetation. So they're not like right up on each other. So if it was chaos, if someone else has music going on at another villa, they might not be able to hear it. And I'm still looking through, y'all. Do y'all see any cameras anywhere? Like, it's a beautiful resort, and of course, the person taking the pictures probably intentionally tried to not get them, but just looking through the resort to see what the security looks like. Okay, those are beams. Let's see if I can. Okay. Uh-oh. So I still can't see where there's any cameras, and I don't see any security. Okay, and this looks like a main foyer that leads out to another pool area. And just looking at this on the actual cabosvillas.com website, they haven't advertised anything about security or security. And so I'm not sure what the state of security was. But usually most resorts, and this one's $1,300 a night, so very pricey, has a security hut when you get ready to come on the property. So was security ever even called to the room? Probably not, because they knew they will be in jail, in prison. So this is a photo inside of one of the villas. So the photo we saw, they were in what looked like a hotel room, and it was beds, but there are villas with the living room. Villa, I presume it was large just because of how many people it was. So they might have been in one designated area. I still don't see any cameras. Okay, so basically it's a nice resort. Oh, look, they told me, look, Miss Ma'am, you gonna click too much. Either you gonna buy something or get up off the website. Okay, so here is another view. And y'all, guess what? I found a camera. So do y'all see this camera? I see one right here. I think that is either a camera or it could be a sprinkler. The only reason I don't think that's a sprinkler, because sprinklers are usually affixed to the wall, and that looks like it's kind of down, like hanging down. So, and it doesn't look like it would be a light that would hang like that. It looks like literally it's on a swivel. I think that's a camera. So just looking at that right here is where I'm thinking it is a camera. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse, but right there above the door, that little white thing, I think is a camera. And I mean, of course, they don't have them where they're not supposed to have them in the bedrooms for privacy. But in the fight with Shanquella, the patio looks similar to this patio where we saw outside, except it was mountains. So with this resort, it must be different size, and they weren't ocean facing because with Quilla, we saw a mountain in the background, not the ocean. Okay, and I wouldn't expect cameras in the private areas, but I'm still looking out of due diligence to see if it's any outside. And I can't tell if there's an actual security stand or some type of gate once you come into the villa. Because, a lot of times when you do resorts and they'll give you a band and you just kind of come and show the security guard the band and go in and off your resort and do what you need to do. So they were staying in the Villa Linda 32, $1,300 a night, as someone pointed out. So a pretty swanky place. Pretty swanky place. It sleeps 12. It had 5 bedrooms. So that means what, 7 people, 5 bedrooms. So it was some room sharing. 5 bathrooms. Ooh, yes, they was good. How they finding all of this? So literally, this is a suite that had everything that they could possibly imagine. And they still found a way to get trouble in paradise. So we are waiting to see what is the timeline for Mexico's federal prosecutors to dissect the case. Also, in conjunction and in tandem with them, we know that the FBI is investigating this, and apparently the public opinion has took a huge interest in this, and we are investigating this. So questions that we definitely need to know moving forward is, where's her credit card? Where is the wallet? Nazeer, shut up with your blunt and Bible, bussy popper, and put your flight itinerary online. And I need everyone to show the flight receipt for their return flight, because we believe that they used Shaquilla's credit card and her money to buy their flights back. So literally, guys, I'm going to continue to follow this story. I definitely want to get some videos out about the parents. I just want to make sure YouTube doesn't put me in YouTube copyright jail, give me a strike or anything. But I do want to go over the parents' statement about how they learned about everything and how it just wasn't adding up, and how they started to get more and more concerned once the facts that the friends presented were contradicted by the evidence. And you guys have to remember, the friends never ever reported to anyone that there was a fight, an ambush, a lynching, a scuffle. They never told that part. It only came out by way of the video and also by way of the autopsy that showed that she had acute spinal cord injuries, fractured spinal cord, directly related to your ability to walk, to move your limbs, and hold your body upright. And once your spinal cord is sensitive, your body becomes vulnerable, and the likelihood of fatal injury, i.e. change of address to heaven, increases. And then remember, Mexico's laws, we read under Article 302, talks about how the crime of deletion is heightened if there's a level or layer of humiliation and mutilation. And to attack someone, record and laugh while they're disrobed and unable to defend themselves, and also to unravel her hair, because I think she went with long hair, and in the video it wasn't the case. So some mutilation had happened. And why was she undressed and everyone else was fully clothed. This wasn't like they just came from the pool and she's getting the sand off her bikini and changing clothes. Everyone else was fully clothed. So this wasn't even like we was at the pool and everybody drying their swimsuits and just changing it, no. So it's so many questions remain unanswered. And we still do not know where Shanquella's cell phone is. Cell phone, her wallet, her credit card, her money, her US money, and her Mexican money. And also, who is this business person she was supposed to have a business meeting with? Because did they go to look for her when she didn't show up? Were they reaching out? Or did these friends try to do some backdoor deal with business? Like, it's so many things. But what we do know is that it looks like that resort potentially had cameras. We don't know if they were operable. And what we do know is that they can be held accountable in both jurisdictions. Now, what crimes can they be charged for in the US? They wouldn't be able to be charged with the deletion because it didn't happen on this soil. But all of the conspiring to cover up thereafter is indictable, is a prosecutorial offense. And with them, if they're all in North Carolina, I will look up to see, because each state has different laws on this. Usually in the South, they don't. But several states have laws that if you see someone and you know that they're actively in danger or there's some type of imminent harm and you do not at least alert authorities, you are culpable and responsible, and just as responsible as the person who inflicted it. And they call it like the Good Samaritan law. So I will look to see if North Carolina has any type of goods. But I know off rip, we need to look at credit card, international wire transfers, and credit card fraud immediately. And American Express is very generous with their research team. So FBI, baby, if y'all think y'all doing something, baby, y'all better call Amex. The FBI need to hire a team of Black women and a team over at American Express, and we can solve this in 15 minutes. So the services, the last I saw, and I'm not sure if it's changed, but the services are going to be held on November 19th. So that is what, Saturday. Services are going to be held on Saturday. I am hearing rumblings that it will be live streamed on nearly every broadcast. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a tentative list of people who are broadcasting. So it's looking like it's turning into a global, international event. And we want to see how Mexican officials handle the treatment of us melanated women. Because we understand that the US is bussy when it comes to protecting Black women. The US get real confused. So we're going to see how Mexico handles femicide. And femicide is when you are in the relationship with someone and there is some entanglement here. We think Nazeer was best friends. Some people are saying entangled. It's a lot. Also, we need to analyze, are hate crimes applicable? Because is this a trans woman who was executing hate crime on a cis woman? So that's another layer of it. But what I do know is I need the media to give it the Gabby Petito energy, like, period. And all 7 of those people, I did see they were doxxed everywhere. Like, I actually had to cut pictures so it wasn't showing their address. But Nazeer said he ain't scared, this and that. Well, Nazeer, keep that same energy, because I don't really have no sympathy for cowards. So don't be up on Instagram popping off with your Bible and your blunt, talking about you ain't worried, run up this and that, because you ain't you bussy, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen when you go to deal with the Mexican federales. Because I'm so tired of people when they done really fucked up things to try to bring God in it. God ain't have nothing to do with that. That was you. Ain't got nothing to do. That was no God in it. There was no light in that activity. So we're gonna look into each one of these friends. And y'all, can you put a comment? Let me know if you want me to do a breakdown on each person, like we do an individual on each person, and I just try to research them all, or do one video on all 7 of who these people are. Because they trying to scrub the internet. You can run, but you can't hide. Like no. And they're trying to scrub the internet, and y'all see how calm I am about that. Let me know if you want me to do a video of all 7 of who these people are, or each one to get their separate video on the extent of busty, dusty, crusty, jealous, clout chasing, demonic, backstabbing, betraying friends that they call themselves. Oh, you're welcome, Ty. You so welcome. I'm sorry, y'all. The chat. Look, the comments was. Look at it. I'm sorry, I didn't even see all the comments. They got stuck. Does the resort have a duty of care? Okay, so in the United States, the resort would have a duty of care. So the question is, does the resort have a duty of care under Mexico's law, and I don't know. But even with the duty of care, whenever you buy flights and things like that, resorts, there's insurance built into this. And this is oftentimes insurance people never think to use. But in those policies, if you read it, it's the most random stuff. But sometimes the insurance, that little travel insurance, if something happens, it may say, we'll pay for a toxicologist. We'll do an investigation. Like, please read the fine print. Well, for the parents of Shanquella, hopefully they can read the fine print on a resort to see if any of the insurance built into the package had any type of remedy or redress. Like anytime I travel, I always do travel protection. And ironically, 2 years ago, I got stuck in Cabo. And I didn't even know, but I'm freaking out. Like, oh my God, I'm stuck. And they was like, oh, don't worry. The travel protection pays for your resort for, blah, blah, blah days until you're done. I was like, oh, okay. Well, listen, I ain't got to get well. I'm cool. But I didn't even know. And then it gave me the option if I wanted to. It was so cool. It was like, oh, if you want to go see a doctor, because I got sick in Mexico, and it's like, if you want to go see a doctor, the insurance paid for it. And they even gave me the option of like, do you want a doctor that is educated in the US, or do you want a doctor that speaks English? And just things that I didn't even know existed within a little travel insurance that you click yes or no to. So there may be so much more that they have access to, but we need to get the data. So we're going to research more with Villa Linda. I'll call them tomorrow while I'm in the airport to ask about security. I'll call and I'll record the call like I did with Wendy Williams. So we'll call Villa Linda to find out how many security guards do they have on site. Are the security guards armed? And when's the last time they had to use them arms? Because I want to know, are they gunshot? Like, don't be security holding away and you afraid to, do what you need to do. So what's their track record with neutralizing situations? And I am believing that they didn't call anyone, y'all. I don't think they called security because they would be in prison. And we still don't know who she tried to call. And with her phone being missing, let's see, do you remember that Dopel said, and by her phone being missing, I think she tried to contact someone and they took it from her. So when you start taking things from people and stopping them, now we have to add the charge of kidnapping. And what I do know is everywhere kidnapping gets really, 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 that's pretty extreme and high level in most areas. So if they had her phone and they obstructed her and stopped her from calling for help, that's a separate felony. And just because I'm a petty, if I want to be petty prosecutor, we're going to throw the theft of the phone in there too. And iPhones, because that's probably what she had because she jazzy. iPhones with the damn 1213 was $1,400. So that's already grand larceny. If they damaged her phone, if they damaged her phone, that's obstruction of justice and concealing evidence and tampering with evidence. If they hid her phone, that's concealing evidence in a high-level felony. And if they stopped her from accessing her phone to get help, that also is impeding, and that triggers Good Samaritan law. Like, you cannot impede someone from trying to call help. And that opens the door to kidnapping charges. Because if her body physically is unable to defend herself, So we know, like, she didn't even have the human reaction to cover. Her body is physically incapable of defending or addressing. At the very least, she may have a little bit in her hand, or she might have the strength to tell Siri to call mom or call police. But the phone was missing also, and they had her staged over the toilet. And this is the part how you know they're fucked up, because they say the maid, the nurse, switch found her over the toilet naked. So even after all of this happened, no one thought to put clothes on her. These that's why I said those, whoever those Nazeer and all of them, these aren't straight men. These are repressed gay men. And I'm not saying gay men are violent toward women, but I'm saying that repressed gay men who are on the down low, living in the closet, get their rocks off on attacking women. Because no man who doesn't have a vendetta against a woman will behave this way. And usually men who are in a closet because they ain't bold enough to live in their truth in 2022 are extra saucy, extra zesty with women. And Nazeer, I'm so annoyed because everybody else hiding. But instead of him calling the FBI, instead of him going to the parents saying, do I need to give a statement? Let me give you pictures I have. Let me give you what I have to help you guys get answers. He up on social media. That's the most attention. This is the most attention his crusty dusty behind has ever gotten in his entire life. And when it was time for his 15 minutes, he couldn't even put on a decent, non-raggedy wife beater, which is an indicator of a crusty, dusty, bussy popped clown. So we are going to say, let's see, Tiana said not only did they delete her, it was also humiliation afterwards because they posted the beating. Yeah. It's so much with this situation. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch everybody's question before I sign off. I saw another question. Thank God the FBI is involved. Right, she's a U.S. citizen. So can they be federally charged for their deletion? Well, it's so much with the deletion it happened there. But everything, if they premeditated it and planned it here, it could open the door. And also all of the concealing, covering up, and conspiring to obstruct the investigation by way of giving false information or not giving information, those could be federal charges. So in the best scenario, they serve their time, locked up abroad in Mexico, and then they are released after 30, 40 years to the US to serve their time for the wire fraud, the kidnapping, and all the charges for everything they did while they were on US soil. And with them posting the fight, because people be so into, oh, my rights is, every country is different. We don't know what Mexico's law is about posting fights. That's not legal in every region in the world. Everybody don't let you run amok like the US. So even inciting any type of violent activity may give way to another criminal charge. So with Mexico, it's open for them to be indicted and serve their time. And how the law will work is at the end of that, they could serve their time in the US. So they could be indicted in both for every part that they played in each region. Or Mexico could say, we'll bring the charges, but US, these your people, so y'all gonna have to pay for the 3 hots and the cots because we ain't got time. And go ahead and let the US just handle this from top to bottom. And another element that will be investigated further is Winter trans? Winter is the woman who, after Dejanay fought her, Winter is the woman that is seen slamming her on the ground, loud thud to the head. And people are saying that she's a woman, she is a trans woman. So that may explain to a lot of us, how was she able to basically airborne her slammer? It was, to see the video, and it wasn't a struggle. It was like, it didn't look like two women fighting to me. So we know that jealousy was their job. She went for a business trip, never made her meeting, never ate her tacos, anything. And everyone let her sit in this room butt ass naked for hours, and no one even had the decency to put a robe on her. Literally, literally despicable. So justice for Shanquella Robinson. I will continue to follow this. Bear with me, y'all. I got one more week in the trenches with Kourt. But I will try to get more information. I want to cover her parent statement, and just more about them and how they were able to even facilitate the process of moving Shanquella from Cabo to North Carolina, and just really unpacking that. So, guys, we're going to continue to cover this. Thank you so much for y'all. My back is killing me. Thank you so much for joining Live with the Jury. Live with the Jury, y'all. It's 8:56. I did not mean to go this long. I did not mean to go this long. But we will continue to follow it. This case is super important. And I will, as I see people posting great videos, I will post them or share them in my community, because I think, it's way more important than the clicks, but just getting this information out. And I told you so far, I need to check Tisa page, y'all, because I've been so busy. I need to check Tisa page too to see if she's covering it. And if it's any tattletales, can y'all let me know? I've been slipping on my pip and I haven't been having time to catch up on everything. But I know Sean Davy Way. I do know Chronicles Speaks. And I think Sean Davy Way is doing like an expose and doing coverage on this. Also, Gossip Girl, Gigi comes with hot tea, so she's been covering this also. And I just, look, this ain't even about the clicks. We got to share the platform to make sure we get justice for Shanquella. So she was definitely beautiful, brilliant, very intelligent. And in the end, because of her success, she was ultimately betrayed by people she called friends. Jury member Deion Sanders said they didn't want to be kept in Mexico. That's why they left, so they didn't have to report this there in Mexico. Yeah, that's what it looks like. They left her for dead. Mm-hmm. So thank y'all so much for Kourt, and thank y'all for hanging in there when we went through the international law. And I'm sorry, y'all, I see the comments now. They were stuck. Y'all have to tell me when they get stuck. My bad. So it's a lot of questions that we need answers to, and we will continue to unpack it. And I know there's so many people covering it. Let me make sure I get out the frame so we can get the suspects up on the screen. So these people down here are all, suspects. They were a part of this. And there is so much to unpack. Did the men join in on the beating? Is Winter, and Winter is the woman, the second from the right? Is she trans? Is she actually masculine? So it's a lot. What's the villa website? Is, hold on, let me tell you. It's cabovillas.com. And I'll put it back on the screen. Let me put the villas website. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but let me make sure. Okay, I put it up there for everybody. If you guys want to continue to investigate, she was staying at the Villas Linda 32, and the cabovillas.com has panoramic photos and everything of the villa where everything happened. Someone said, please expose people. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and expose a marathon because I miss y'all. It's been 2 weeks. I've been so busy. I've been like, oh my God, I gotta get to Kourt. I gotta get to Kourt. Yeah, do not collect gold. Do not go past gold. Don't collect $200. Go straight to jail. They're not clever. They really don't understand international law, and international treaties make it super easy to indict. They thought, oh, we just gonna leave her here, bounce back to the States. They not gonna come arrest us. They not checking for no black girl. And then the fact that they get on social media and pussy pop, so I'm gonna stay on their necks. I'm not gonna let up. I'm not. Someone said gay men and women are becoming the most violent. Is it really gay men or is it men who are repressed and not living in their truth because they want to be out the closet? Because I don't think gay men in general were violent. But I do find that men who are on a DL, they hate women. They hate women. And that's how you genuinely, no matter what a dude is like, if a dude just is mean, like an ass, and like hates women, like Future, I don't think you're on a deal. And they said okay, I am Treasure and tired of what being the boss that she was. Yeah, because she was a boss. And I looked on their social media, Treasure, her friends, just normal. They weren't bossed up like her. Like they weren't traveling, they weren't Gucci Lucci with the photo shoots, they weren't, no. She was definitely doing her thing. Definitely doing her thing. It's just like a mod Arbery. Remember, that's how they got caught because they posted it. And you know what the Bible said pride before the fall? It was the arrogance. No shade, you're right, said no shade to any community. Why would you do that to that baby? Yeah. Like, and I just hearing her mom talk about her, how she was trustworthy, very giving. I think this was a bunch of broke people on a trip and they wanted to see her as a lick, and she might have been sweet, but not a pushover. Where's the second video? Lacey, I'm not playing a video just because YouTube is very strict and I don't want to play the violence on my channel. You so welcome, Ty. You so welcome. Uh-oh, that one dope said, thank you, April. Is your birthday? April, I thought you said it's my birthday. I thought you were saying it's your birthday. No, my birthday's in August. They invited me just to be me. Hold on, that dope said, and I be coming in. They invited me just to be me. Okay. Oh, you talking about a trip where someone was just being shady? Absolutely. Good night, y'all. Right? And when the energy's like that, tap out. Y'all tap out. Good night, y'all. Court is adjourned. I'm just chopping it up with y'all. People are so good at pretending. Yeah, that was one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn. People are not who they present themselves to be. Oh, that dope. So you're Aries because your birthday in April. So y'all, court is officially adjourned. On your way out, could you please hit the like button and let me know in the comment section, y'all, if you want me to do a separate video on the 7 suspects or if you just want me to do one video with all 7. I love y'all, jury family. I love y'all. It's Free Friday, y'all. It's 9:04 in LA. We going over the Shanquella Robinson case. Definitely will continue to cover it. Bear with me. I'm traveling on the road, but I will be trying to get you guys as much information about the FBI investigation, about the funeral memorial services on the 19th, and questions about the missing documents, money, credit card, all of that. All of that. Thank you so much, y'all, for rocking with me. It's been Live with the Jury. Thank you so much. I'll add timestamps within 24 hours for the international law. I love you, jury family. Please hit the like button on the way out. 12:04 in Michigan in the video. Sheila Williams said one video, all 7. Okay, one video. Okay, so you say do one video with all 7. Okay, so that's one vote. So one video with all 7 of who they are, what their Twitter, their Instagram. Are they haters? Are they shady people? Ty said, April, do whatever is easiest for you. Okay. Pink Honey, day one, A1, day one, Pink Honey says good night. Thank y'all. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you so much. Y'all, I'm sorry, my voice is a little bit raspy. It's just from all the traveling. Jury family, I love y'all so much. It's Free Friday. I love y'all so much. Guess what? Give me about 30 minutes. If you still up, I'm going to do another live. I'm doing another live since the Kardashians talking about they celebrating winning the case. Y'all know I'm going to read many more. And I'm probably not going to leave the live up because I'm going to read her ass real good. So anybody who like him, tweet her and let her know she about to get spanked tonight. Or she might be cuddled up with her little boyfriend, Van Jones, already ready for the read. Kim sending fake flowers to herself, y'all, to compete with Pete. And lying about the trial as if we didn't cover the trial. And how many times is the Kardashians are going to use Dream's name, Blac Chyna's name, Miss Tokyo's name on a stinking show and not cut checks? They use every Black person under the sun for a storyline. Good night, Jerica. Hey, boo. I know, girl. I've been traveling, working, and I think I said it earlier, but November is the busiest month of the year for me. I'm even losing my voice a little bit. I'm in court so much. I got court every day next week. But we're going to do another live. I just need to get something to eat, get some tea, if y'all up for a late night. But Kim talking about they prayed every day during a Blac Chyna trial. Pray? In my Soldier Boy voice, pray? Girl, ain't nobody worried about you over there praying to Baphomet. Yeah, like Kim, you might have been on your knees, but you wasn't praying. Antonio, thanks for coming through. Okay, so y'all said y'all could wait on me. Okay, perfect. Let me get some little tea. No, I'm lying. I'm going to tell the truth. I shouldn't be drinking it, but I'm getting coffee. I'm going to get some coffee. So I'll see y'all in like 30 minutes for the Sunken Place read. Because Kim, she can't keep Blac Chyna's name out her mouth. So I'm going to see if I can help her out today and read her about that unauthorized practice of the law that she's engaging in. Yeah, breaking all of California's judicial laws with that. So we're going to get into it. I love y'all, jury family. Hit the like button on your way out. And everyone tapping in on the playback, give me 24 hours to put up timestamps. And let me know, for this case, we are going to unturn every stone. Please, y'all, in the comment section, tell me, Kourt Chronicles, investigate this. Kourt Chronicles, look into this. Let me know what you guys want to know, and I'll research it. Tomorrow, I'm calling the villa to find out if they have security. And we'll do a video, and I'll record the call so we can know that. But everything you want to know, let me know, and we're going to try to investigate it together. Love y'all. Love you so much. Live with the jury. I miss y'all. I miss y'all. Look, I miss my house and everything and my bed. Saying I got to leave tomorrow. I miss my bed. So I will see y'all in a few minutes. Just give me a second to get some coffee. Even though, look, my lips keep trying to lie like it's tea. No, this time it's about to be coffee. See y'all later. Hit the like button on the way out, jury family. I'll see you in court in a few minutes for a read on a Sunken Place. Court is adjourned, jury.